New Tesla Model 3 versus used Tesla Model S. This is a decision that a lot of people are thinking about right now, as we're about 2 months away from Model 3 being produced. But even if you're on a waiting list right now, that doesn't mean you're going to be getting it, in even September. Sometimes some of the people on the waiting list, depending on where in the queue they are and which region of the world they live in, they may have to wait for another year. So this is a pretty big question for them. I'm going to tell you what the pros and cons of those two choices are right now. But before that, if you are interested in Tesla related topics, please go ahead and click on the subscribe button down there so you don't miss anything moving forward. Alright, so let's talk about the differences between the new Model 3 and the used Model S, because those are the choices a lot of people are thinking about right now. Now, at this point, we can have this conversation because the price of the used Model S with still decent mileage, relatively low mileage, is comparable to what you would get if you get a Model 3 with also decent options, and they are about $40,000 to $50,000. That's what the price range is right now. So the prices are pretty similar. Now it looks like the range is going to be similar as well. Now I know Model S can go up to what, 325 miles right now, but that's high-end models that even used, there are first of all not that many of them, but also they're still pretty up there, so they're not really comparable models for the Model 3. I'm comparing models like 85 or 70D or even 60 that are 3 or 4 years old. So they have the same range of about 200 to 150 miles, which I think is pretty good. I have a 60 myself, one of my cars is 60, and I never have any problems with it, no range anxiety at all. Also performance, again, we're comparing the lower used Model S cars. The performance is, they're amazing cars. Again, I have a 60 and it takes off still very, very quick. It's just not ludicrous, but it's very quick, and that's what looks like Model 3 is going to have as performance as well. So they're pretty comparable as well. Now the size, obviously Model 3 is going to be smaller in size, but from the pictures and comparisons that are out there, you can definitely see that it's just as roomy inside. So the cabin itself is very similar size to Model S. I believe it could literally be the same when it comes down to the production. So they are very similar in many different ways. Now let's talk about Model S first. Now, of course, don't forget, if you're buying a used car, there are some concerns. Some of the technology is going to be a little outdated. For example, it's not going to have the autopilot hardware. If you are even getting one, it's not going to be autonomous driving ready ever. And a lot of those cars just don't have the autopilot hardware at all. At this point, I think that's perfectly fine. I just in my video from a couple of days ago, I think the autopilot software right now is not in a usable enough stage for me to spend money on it if I was buying one right now, so I wouldn't worry about it. But the bigger problem is, of course, the warranty, right? You're definitely going to get a good warranty with the new Model 3. The warranty for the Model S is sort of a must, right? We don't know what happens to these cars once they go 150 to 100,000 miles, because there are very few of them who have done that, and we also don't know what the repair costs are going to be. They are high right now. We just don't know how much this is going to be coming down as far as the repair costs. So you don't know what's going to break and how much it's going to cost to fix it. Now, I would strongly recommend, if you are buying a used Model S, you either need to make sure that it has a 100,000 mile warranty from the previous owner if they bought it, or it is certified pre-owned from Tesla, which means that we'll have a 100,000 mile warranty. And I think right now they're giving out 2 years, whichever comes first. So that's a pretty good peace of mind. Again, you might not keep it for more than 2 or 3 years, so you will be using that warranty, but I think warranty is very important. And Model S that you're going to be buying used, especially if it has high miles, you're going to have to worry about repairs. You're going to have to worry about spending that money that you may not be planning on spending. So that's a big deal. Now, another thing that we should talk about is obviously supercharging. Now, not everybody needs it. A lot of people don't take their cars on a long trip. Actually, I stopped taking my Model S on long trips simply because superchargers are so crowded that it's adding so much more time to my trip in addition to charging time that it's just easier for me to get a gas car. I know it's kind of sad. I mentioned it in another video, but that's just where it is right now. With that said, Model S will, at least at this point, the used one will have the unlimited supercharging, so you don't have to worry about it, and it looks like Model 3 will not. You will have to pay for it. I don't know if they're going to allow a certain amount of miles or a certain amount of kilowatts to be used for free per year, after which you're going to be charged, but it's definitely not going to be unlimited. So this is something to think about. It Model S has it, Model 3 doesn't. Whether or not you really need it, that's up to you, but this is definitely a difference. Model S will definitely have more features. I mean, from cool little features like the door handles popping out in and out, something that Model 3 will not have. And all other cool things, including a big screen and in some cases autopilot software, but it also does have updates. So obviously Model 3 will have the latest fully autonomous capable hardware, but the software is something that Model S will have the latest because all Tesla cars get it over the year, and that's one of the cool parts. Now, the biggest advantage of Model S, the used Model S over Model 3, is obviously you can get it right now. You can get them, literally walk in and get it from either a private party or certified pre-owned at the Tesla showroom. So if you want one right now, if you really don't want to wait, if you need a car right now, you don't want to wait even for half a year to a year, you might as well get yourself in the Model S. See, just get familiar with the brand and the car. And if you want to sell it in another year, it won't lose that much more value because you're already buying it used. It lost most of its crucial value. And then get a Model 3 if you want to, or maybe you will stick around with Model S and you like it better. So that's a big advantage that it is available right now. Now, talking about Model 3, obviously it's going to be a new car. New car will come with a new smell, the latest safety features, the latest software and hardware. So that's that's a big peace of mind. So you'll have a brand new car with a warranty and roadside assistance. Now, of course, it's also going to be a cool brand new model, right? There won't be that many of them on the road, so you will be driving a cool car where the Model S is still very cool, but people have seen it. I don't know how important it is to you, but you will be driving a car in the first year of its production ever. So that, I don't know what it's worth, but it is a cool thing, I think. Of course, if you're getting a used car, you will have to have a higher APR. So if you're buying a used Model S, you'll have a higher APR versus financing your brand new Model 3. Or obviously, I don't know if it's going to be up for lease in the beginning, but at some point it will be. And I have tons of videos about how and why leasing is just cheaper than buying if you want to get a brand new car. So that's another advantage that Model 3 will have, is just cheaper financing one way or another. And the last one, I don't want to forget this one. This is kind of important, but for now, until Tesla runs out of its credits for the at least federal incentives, you will be getting $7,500 back in tax credits for the Model 3. That's already done with a used Model S. The original owner got it. And in some states like California, $2,500 or whatever it is in your state, you will be getting that as a check within about a month or two after buying your car. So that's up to $10,000 off a Model 3, where the used Model S price will be just that, whatever that is. Both will have carpool stickers in states like California. I believe it's right now extended to 2019. I don't think they're gonna make it any more, they're gonna prolong it anymore, because to be honest with you, the carpool lanes are just as slow now with all kinds of electric cars and people with more than one person in them. So I'm not really sure if that's going to continue happening, and even if it does, there's not much advantage to it anymore. But that's another perk that you're going to be getting for the next at least couple of years in states like California. So as you can see, it's actually a pretty tough decision right now. I know a lot of people made videos about this like a year ago, a half a year ago, but at that time Model S was still pretty pricey, and just in terms of price rate, the price bracket, this wasn't a comparison in the first place. Now in the last few months, the prices came down, and I think Tesla kind of also made a point of it to make sure to have enough of this cheap Model S cars in their inventory. Now we can actually compare it, and it does look like a tough choice. I have to say that if you just want to get yourself in a Tesla, in an electric car, right now, you might be better off getting a used Model S. Just like I mentioned, if you sell it in another year to get the Model 3 that you wanted, you won't lose that much value, because the car is already pretty cheap if you ask me, compared to what the original owner bought it for. Where if you get in Model 3, obviously you will take the biggest hit. So I would recommend, if you just want to get in right now, then go for it right now. If you have a lease on your car, or if you're already driving a Tesla and you can wait for another year or two, like myself, both of my leases expire next year, I will wait, and then I'll make a decision maybe to switch one of my Teslas into Model 3 or just stay the way it is, but at least that decision won't need to be made until then. So I hope this helped. If you have any questions, please go ahead and post them in comments. I'll be happy to answer them. I answer as many of them as I can. Also, if you have some insights, because this video will be out there for a while, there will be some news coming out for Model S and the Model 3. So if there's anything you want to add to this video, again, the comment section, please go ahead and speak your mind. If you haven't already, please go ahead and click on that subscribe button down there so you don't miss any of the future videos that I dedicate to Tesla, which are news, reviews, tips, and many other topics that are all related to Tesla. All right, that's it for me for now. See you next time, and remember to stay charged.